Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new League of Legends video. So Riot has finally just announced that the return of Doombots is imminent. Now it'll be called Doombots of Doom, but regardless, this game mode is coming back, but in just a new sort of fashion or way. Now for those of you that are simply maybe unaware of what exactly Doombots is, here's some gameplay footage that you'll be watching in the background of the old school Doombots way back when, maybe a couple of years ago, I don't remember exactly, but essentially you face bots that are empowered. They have special passives and they also have extremely overpowered versions of almost all of their abilities that you're going to be seeing bit by bit throughout this video. But for now, I want to talk about the post that Riot made and essentially tell you guys what exactly is going to be new and what you can expect in the new Doombots. So rather than being somewhat of a typical 5-on-5 full Summoner's Rift map, now it'll actually be half of the Summoner's Rift map, and then Doombots apparently are going to be rushing all of your lanes relentlessly. So it seems like more of a survival type game mode where you just have to do your best to kill them, survive the whole round up until 15 minutes where a special event will happen. Because if you do survive for that long, 15 minutes in, an evil overlord of the Doombots is summoned, and if you defeat him, you win the game, but of course, if you lose your Nexus, you lost the game. Other things to note about the game mode are the fact that the Doombots will not go back to the shop or they will not heal either, but they do die and they'll be back in lane very quickly. Like I said, the map is going to be cut in half so that it's much more focused on gameplay rather than just kind of stalling out or spending a lot of time walking around. You can't really push into the enemy tower since they're invulnerable. But if you do end up getting some minions to suicide to an enemy tower, then you'll get a burst of HP and mana to help you sustain through the relentless push of the Doombots. And upon breaking certain kill quest thresholds, your team will receive a boost in power, so if you work together and you get certain objectives done, it'll essentially help you survive this extremely difficult circumstances. Another somewhat important thing to remember is the fact that there is going to be a new sort of overlay for Summoner's Rift, kind of giving you that Halloween or spooky theme to it, so expect to see something maybe along the lines of what you see on your current screen, again, giving that sort of spooky Halloween theme to Summoner's Rift. So as you've been seeing throughout this video, all the Doombots have very interesting and empowered kind of OP looking abilities. Like Cho'Gath has several Qs, Ezreal's ultimate fires probably like 10 of them in several different directions, Karthus can go actually completely invulnerable for a few seconds, he has several walls that spawn, Ziggs can throw several Qs or several Es and things like that. So the big question is, of course, which champions will be the Doombots this time around? Well, luckily for us, they gave us a list. Amumu, Annie, Blitzcrank, Brand, Cho'Gath, Ezreal, Fiddlesticks, Galio, Heimer, Leona, Lulu, Lux, Malzahar, Morgana, Tristana, Udyr, Veigar, Wukong, Yasuo, Yorick, the New York of course, and Ziggs. Now some of these champions we have already seen in this video right now, for instance Ziggs, for instance Galio, but there are new ones, for instance like Yasuo or the reworked Yorick. Now I'm really curious to see what Yasuo's is gonna be. Maybe every time he uses Q it's actually the third Q, the tornado, maybe he fires 3 of them in different directions, maybe his ult keeps you in the air longer. I'm honestly not entirely sure, we'll have to wait to see when the game mode actually goes on the live servers or the PvE servers at least. But I do want you guys to let me know in the comments below which champion do you think you're most excited for, to see what exactly kind of OP abilities Riot will give them for this Doombot game mode. But it does not stop there, because just like the previous Doombots, the one you're watching now, each champion would receive some form of random buffs based on the level of difficulty that you're facing the Doombots at, and it'll just make things a lot more difficult, and some of them are extremely overpowered. Think of them as just really OP passives. And Riot does seem to be bringing it back, just in a slightly different fashion. So they're calling them curses now, and there's a huge list of them which doesn't really tell you exactly what it does, but you can definitely make some educated guesses. But this time around it'll affect every single Doombot or even the map itself, and what's even more interesting is the fact that they rotate randomly every few minutes, so it'll give them a variety of different powers that are very overpowered, but at the same time it keeps things sort of fresh and you don't really know what to expect. For instance, Death Defied sounds a lot like Karthus' passive, so maybe every champion gets Karthus' passive. Or maybe every single Doombot will have a wind wall randomly spawn in front of them that'll block everything and maybe even auto attacks, fully even melee attacks, and then you just can't really do anything every few seconds. Or maybe something like Hallucination, which refers to Shaco, and maybe they'll all spawn clones of each other and just go completely haywire on you. It's hard to say fully exactly what these kind of curses will do or will add to the champions or the Doombots or the map, but we will find out hopefully very shortly. And there's still one more thing to talk about that I think is actually very interesting, which sort of gives you a very big incentive of wanting to try and beat the hardest level difficulty of these Doombots and really just try your best with your friends to get as far as you possibly can. So Riot is calling this game mode the Gauntlets, and in this custom difficulty you're able to essentially set the difficulty that you want to face the Doombots at. Now it ranges from only level 1 to all the way up to 100, which I could only assume is probably insanely difficult to the point where I would even argue it might be even impossible. But all in all, you can vote for what level you want to face the Doombots at, I'm assuming before the game mode actually fully starts, and then once everyone agrees to a certain mode, it will go ahead and input that, but if there's no agreement, then the game will simply randomize it. Your match histories will show what level of Doombots you have been able to complete so people can check it out and be impressed, or maybe even laugh at what the level you beat the Doombots at. But what makes things very interesting to me is how Riot is interested to see at what the highest level that any players in the world can complete, because after the event is done, there is going to be a special icon for people that complete some of the highest level Doombots compared to everyone else. So I think that's really cool, the fact that you can get some sort of special unique icon if you happen to be able to complete some of the highest level difficulties with your friends against these Doombots. So again, it gives you a really cool and interesting incentive to want to keep trying to figure out ways and completing the highest level difficulty possible. But either way guys, that is about it for this video. I mean, once it hits the PBE servers, you know I will be on that, playing this without question, getting some gameplays up for you guys, because this game mode honestly has to be one of the best ones next to Earth. It truly is a lot of fun. The abilities that the bots get is always very interesting to see, and it really is a challenge, especially now that they're sort of revamping it and making it more of a survival type game mode. So again, I'm very excited for it. I hope you guys are as well. And again, once it hits the PBE servers, you know you can definitely expect some gameplay. So if you are excited for this new game mode, then hit that like button to let me know. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you for my next video. Peace.